Who pulled out a gun first?
Alec was pulling it out, and that's when I pulled mine out and told everyone not to move.
And then that's when everyone started freaking out.
So why were you planning to do this?
I feel like I was doing people a favor, like showing them the real world. Basically showing people how I feel.
Was your intention to people today?
I wanted to show. I just want them to have something bad happen to them.
I'm going to do something a little different today. I'm going to preface a lot of this with any argument I might make here in this video is not from a place of being a Christian, because I'm not, but I'm not a leftist either. To talk about a real serious topic here on top of trying to do so honestly, not come at this from a place in which a lot of people really do take the firm stance of that on the left or that on the right, because I do understand that this is a very complex issue. It's a serious issue. I'm going to attempt to treat it like that. This was a that happened in Colorado. Happened a couple of years ago. The channel Explore With Us, they do a lot of interrogation videos. A day or two ago they released a lot of the interrogation of the two people who were connected to the school in Colorado. Hearing them talk about it and why, anybody who's honest really wouldn't be surprised by their answers. We have without a doubt raised this last generation to be a mess. And I'll use the word we real liberally there. Not everybody agrees with it. People think differently. When I think of Colorado particularly, you couldn't grow up in much better of a state to grow up in if and when you decided to be trans or came out as trans. Colorado is one of the 50 states, probably the most relaxed, the most at ease when it comes to trans issues, especially with kids. I'll let my stance be known right out the gate. I don't have a problem in the world with an adult who chooses to do that with their life. If that's what makes an adult happy, and in the end they're not trying to change the whole world to kind of dictate their daily feelings, I don't have a problem in the world with them. I'll call you any pronoun you want. I'll treat you how you want to be treated. My real, true one issue is when it comes to the kids. Believe it or not, I was a child once. I understand the issues that come with growing up, with trying to find out who you are, with trying to become the person you believe you're meant to be. The older I've gotten, the more I can appreciate how complex that growth and growing is. So when I have watched the last couple years and the push for the kids stuff specifically, this is not hate. This is not phobia. Like, I'm sure some of y'all will come along and consider it all that. That's more so because you've been captured ideologically. I don't hate a single one of you. I have a real big problem with adults teaching children this stuff. And if there was any further example needed, better yet, strike that. I'm not going to imply as if it's being trans is the reason why this child did what they did. I can imagine a world in which this is going to happen a lot more. And it will be with these types of kids. Big piece of the social media that they intake, the things they hear, the articles they read, the shit on TV that tells them how they're under attack. Kind of getting ahead of myself. But I just wanted to preface all this with, I'm going to talk about a real serious topic here. I'm not strawmanning, nothing's in bad faith. There's no phobias, there's no hatred. But I'm going to talk about this the way I would hope an adult would when talking about children. And especially talking about children who have been trapped and captured into an ideology that their brains can't begin to comprehend. It's not bad enough that the adults who push, preach, and promote it, they don't have any ideas either. It's anything goes with them. I'd like to honestly get to where they draw a line with some of these kids. Like, that's too far. Most of them don't have that line. I do. I've got a line for every fucking thing in my life. Specifically fucking kids. So, let's get in this case a little bit. We're going to start when Alec's mother coming into the interrogation room, seeing her son for the first time after knowing he's been arrested for being a school shooter, with one child unfortunately deceased, others injured.
Not you. You know that. This is not you. You told him. Kids, apparently I'm not doing enough. This isn't your fault. Just know that my love for
faith is unconditional.
It's what I'd hope my mother would tell me. Then again, that's what my mother's always told me. Unconditional love for their child, no matter depravity they might inflict on others. But you get a real good sense off of that mom right there, whether or not that's the truth or not. But it felt genuine to me to have a loving mother who tried all that she could do to help her child growing and going through something to where there is no textbook for. All the ideologically captured institutions signing off on this stuff or not. There is no path for this. There is no handbook. It is a brand new thing going on here. They can tell you there's been trans people for all of mankind. What we have today in the trans community is unlike anything before ever in history. And the rewriting that they've done with it in the last probably 5 years specifically. But you can definitely get the feel that old mama here is heartbroken going in here, seeing Alec and knowing what he's done.
Has your name officially been changed to Alec?
No.
It's Maya? Okay. But I will call you Alec.
Have arrested him for another student being part of a school, are still respecting the delusions of Alec. Broken down to its barest of bones, it is a child who doesn't want to be who they are, wants to be someone else. The detectives locked him up for murder and are still respecting the delusion. So like at every avenue here, like he's getting love, he's getting respect, he's getting all the things that one would hope you would get from other people. So far he's received that even in the worst of scenarios.
How has STEM been?
Probably the worst experience.
Tell me why.
Well, on top of being transgender, I got a lot of crap for that.
If we go back to the body cam footage of moments after being arrested,
Roll over. I don't know. I got you right here, man. Okay, I got a 9mm magazine. Got anything else on you?
Just my phones.
Just your phones? Nothing else. What?
Been exposed.
Been exposed to what?
No.
To what?
I'm trans and my breasts just flew everywhere.
And you're what?
I'm transgender and I flashed everyone.
bro, look at all these bullets. Look at all that ammunition dude had in his pockets. 100 bullets just come out his pockets. And the first thing he could think to proclaim is, I'm trans and you just flashed everybody. You just killed somebody. And the fact that you being transgender is so far at the bottom of the priority list at this point, I'm amazed that you would feel the need to let it be known. But then again, their identity is everything, and how they are seen is so important. It takes priority over everything else that's going on. Yeah, I just killed people, shot other people. That's right under the priority of respect the fact that I'm trans. You see, like the priority list, you have created a child that is so spun out that in the midst of being arrested for murder, he needs to let you know, yeah, I don't know, you just pulled 100 bullets out of my pocket, but I'm trans.
How long have you been Alec?
I came out to my friends in about 8th grade.
8th grade? Okay. Has the transition been smooth or has it been rough or what's been going
It's
on
been
with
really
that?
hard.
Tell me why it's been really hard.
I just have to live with the fact that no one sees me for me, and I will never be who I want to be. Anything, I'm not a boy, I'm not a girl, I'm just nothing.
With a smile, with a smirk.
Nothing.
No, you're not nothing. No one is nothing. We are who we are. The moment of conception, it has been decided, whether by a higher power or just the sheer luck of sperm and egg meeting. At that moment, it is decided who you are, male or female. You just are that. No one will ever see me as the person I want to be. That therein lies the ultimate contradiction, the ultimate issue with this. You want to be seen as something you aren't. You cannot become. I'd imagine most of the people at that school, I'm sure, are polite, courteous, respectful even, call you everything that you want to be called. Some. The fact that not all affirm that you wish to be someone else, therein lies the problem. All kids struggle with identity, trying to grow into who they want to be, who they wish to be, who they hope to become. I had no idea who I actually was until I was about 25 or 26 years old. Have I ever dealt with maybe the issues that these children are dealing with? No. I could argue that that's every reason why you never introduced this to children to begin with. Because these issues are so incredibly complex that the adults who deal with these particular issues, they don't even have any answers. And there is no handbook for them because every case is different. Every case will forever be different. There's people who want to do this with kindergartners. Same children who believe in Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny, and the Tooth Fairy. If you're down with that and you think that's an okay decision, you're at least not as smart as you believe you are. You can't control how other people see you. That's the beauty of being human. That's the beauty of living in the world in a couple of 100 million people. The sooner we can accept just who we are and just be that person, the easier and better your life will forever be. HRT, cutting off your breast, no amount of any of that will ever change the fact of who you biologically are. I'm excluding intersex people, the legitimate medical condition which is intersex. We're talking about people who have just been so pumped LGBTQIA propaganda that they are just a ball of mess. And it's unfortunate, but just accept yourself. I promise you, you can only be you. There is no other you. It is only you.
Why? Like, what's your motive? And I'm talking about how I know what people say about me. I'm not dumb.
But Alex Counselor...
Alex is weird. He gravitates to vulnerable people. Okay. Do you know what I mean? Devin's very vulnerable.
Was Alec bullied in any ways?
I feel that Alec is a bully.
Why do I believe that? That's what most of these kids are. That see an out that they can use to their advantage. Some children will take that and run with it. Have that side of them in them. It's almost a weapon to be used.
I gave them a reason to be scared because they need to think about how what you really say can drive someone to do this.
No. Sticks and stones may break my bones. Words can never hurt me. I believe that's a concept that they've forgotten to teach kids. They've completely thrown that out the window. You know, right along with the MLK, wish my children to be judged by the content of their character and not the color of their skin. That's just too, bringing together versus this division that, we love to push. We get ahead way too far when we can just keep everybody divided. Everybody not liking or hating one another. We could do everything we'd ever want. So we got to get rid of all that. We got to get rid of all that togetherness stuff.
They don't care. No one cares. So I'm finally gonna give in to my thoughts.
Family, immediate family, friends. Those are the people who will care. They may try to talk you out of doing particular things. You expecting the entire universe or everybody you come in contact throughout your day to care is asking a whole lot of a whole lot of people. You know, the best you can ever get is just a neutral. I'm not gonna hope for respect out of everybody I encounter. I'm just gonna hope that I don't get disrespect. And if I'm walking that line of just more people are neutral to me, I don't care. Whatever. Just keep it moving. I'll take that as a win than any sense of I'm now going to dictate to how the world accepts me when I come into the room.
Did something happen at school this week or what help me understand what the big thing, the analogy you always hear, the straw that broke the camel's back. What was that?
What do you think it is? If I only gave you a single guess, you think you can guess? Oh, I bet you could.
This kid kept calling me by my biological name, and that's what made me lose it.
Your actual name, your legal name, your name. I know you've created this entire persona, this entire other person, other people who've maybe known you your entire life and have known you by Maya, calling you Maya. You've hurt me. What these people say to me hurts me when I in turn lash out and hurt other people. Because I believe the one kid that Alec was actually targeting was that kid. The kid who was calling him Maya. You don't get to hurt people if they don't abide by your delusions. And I know that hurts for some of y'all to hear it. It is a delusion. You've created a character of who you want to be looked at as. The world is bigger than you. You are not the main character of this movie. You would do best just to try and get along with everybody you can. If it's somebody you can't get along with, avoid them. Stay away from them. If they continue to do it, reach out to the counselors, to the principal. You need to reach out to adults and figure out how to stop this kid from hurting your feelings or what you take as disrespect. We don't react and hurt other people because dude called me my actual legal biological name. Still with me? I'm sure reasonable people are. It's the ideologues that I'm sure is just what old John Stewart say. I know that's what it sounds like, but I'm the dad y'all needed and never had.
What were you writing on the walls?
The voices win.
The voices win?
Yeah.
Alec, you are the voices. All y'all transes, all y'all people who think you hear voices, all the voices told me, all the voices are talking to me. You are the voices, even if it's 30 different ones. So if somebody's telling you to go do something fucking bad and hurting people, the voices are you.
At school, I'm a completely different person. No one would ever have guessed this from me.
Oh, but 5 seconds earlier,
I'm just doing what everyone expected me to.
no one would have expected this from me. I'm just doing what everybody expected me to do. Imagine having both those thoughts in your head. That's all part of the delusion. Want to introduce it to the youngest and youngest of children. I think a big chunk of the push that these ideologues do, and like what a lot of their fight is behind it, they can get children to grow up and live the way they lived, then that means that they didn't do it wrong. In search of something that they could never attain, let's see if we can get the kids to grow up and do what I did, and then in hopes it doesn't make me look as crazy as maybe I am or feel. I don't know. I think that's a lot to do with it because there's so much hypocrisy involved in this life, in this lie.
What kind of person are you at school?
I try to be friends with everyone. I'm a people pleaser.
But 5 seconds earlier,
I just want them to have something bad happen to them.
well, something bad did happen to them, unfortunately. You took the life of another kid who never did you wrong. Wasn't your initial target. I don't know if he was 17 or 16 years old. Parents lost their child because of you. Because of you and your delusions. I'm sure a lot of people hear that, well, it's not that simple. It kind of fucking is in the end when that's the end result of other children who just get hurt because they aren't abiding by these made-up, daily changed rules that these people live by. You see the adults, when you see the teachers, like this teacher.
Anytime I mention that I'm a trans teacher or that I see and respect the trans students in my classroom, there's always a group of people who feel it's necessary to tell me to keep indoctrination out of my classroom and just teach. Like, sir, what do you think is happening exactly?
Are you gendering? I know the one who don't like misgender nobody just gendered them with a sir.
Like, sir.
But yeah, keep your indoctrination out of the classroom. Classroom is for doing math, reading, writing, cursive, art maybe. Ain't got nothing to do with your ideology. So yes, teacher, Mix, you are in fact indoctrinating children. And you only prove it when you try to explain to us what children are like in your school.
Wait, do you remember high school at all? 90% of my day is just interactions like these. Hey Flint, what's a trash can but like bigger? Like a trash's dad. The trash house. Like a dumpster? Yeah, that's it. Hey Flint, how long have you had those Doc Martens for? 6 years? Do you want us to start a GoFundMe so you can get new ones?
If your point was to show everyone that children are fucking stupid, you did a great job in that. They can change their gender on a whim. I think you haven't thought that through very well. Hey man, what's a big trash can? You mean a dumpster?
All right, now that we've wrapped up that lecture, I think we're ready to begin. What questions do we... Have you been watching that Korean barbecue video this whole time? Okay, now that I've given detailed assignment instructions, quieted 35 teenagers, put the lighting to optimal levels, put on low and calming music, and answered all questions, I think we're ready to begin. I'm just gonna do this at home. No.
Lazy and kind of stupid, which is the general childish thing. Like I'm not trying to talk shit here. Children in general are not very smart people. That's why they're children. That's also why we don't let them do many things, which is also why I could argue that kids, we gotta like hit the brakes on a lot of this stuff with these kids, because these kids have gotten so fucking arrogant where people get off thinking that kids can make any decision at all, short of maybe like what shirt they want to wear to school. And even that, I wouldn't give it to them until they're probably in the 7th or 8th grade. God forbid they'd walk out the goddamn house in a spaceman outfit. You're showing that kids act the way we all know kids to act, at least any reasonable adult knows how a kid acts, to say that talking to children about trans stuff they can handle. They can't. Rotation of, we've got teachers, you turn the corner to see politicians who are even more lost in the rhetoric and just the insanity of all this stuff. Case in point, no.
Got 500 friends here today in opposition. This is dangerous policy passed by poor process, supported by junk science.
Supported by what?
Supported by junk science.
Junk science. Says the they them that I'm sure couldn't define what an actual woman is. Your science changes every hour. Actually, like, and got the audacity. But then again, that's our politicians. So our teachers, our politicians are entrenched in the rhetoric. They're entrenched in the insanity of what is trans and what is to be trans, fighting to teach it to children. And then we wonder why we get the mess we get with them. Like, these kids will be confused their entire lives. Unless maybe a light goes off in their head along the lines of all this stuff and like turns a corner or grows out of all this stuff. Most of these kids who start this process are just, they're dug in at that point. They've done processes, they've ingested medications and things that have completely flipped their entire system, the life and the confusion in which they will all live. Society does not continue when like there's a big chunk of the population that are like these people. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but like these people. They cannot reproduce. So to continue society with trans, with even LGBT, society doesn't continue. Sure, they can adopt, which I'm not really for. Like, for the bulk of them, I would not be okay with, because a lot of these people got fucking issues. But society fails. It does not continue. This stuff is pushed and promoted, at least all by our teachers and politicians. And then you turn and take just a peek at the TikToks every 20 seconds with another flick and another one and another one.
Are doing some truly heinous thing.
There have been a lot of attacks on trans kids.
Were unaliving themselves at a rate higher than what they normally would.
Trans kids are under attack, so what do? Stand up, fight back.
Under attack.
Your almost daily reminder that LGBTQIA+, specifically trans rights, are under attack all the time.
We're under attack.
Week, the LGBTQ community has experienced horrific attacks.
We're under attack.
Trans people are under attack.
We're under attack.
Yesterday, anti-trans activist Jamie Reed spoke at the LGB Alliance, a hate group in London. A federal judge just ruled in Pennsylvania that LGBTQ topics and books with trans characters cannot be taught without parental permission. Attacks on trans people have...
Adults are having the conversations that you're not equipped to have is what we're having. And any other adult who's arguing the attack stuff, these are emotionally, mentally stunted adults who don't know how to reason. Who the fuck would be wanting to talk to children about it? Or you saw that one, it was talk about first graders, how a teacher was talking to their first graders about transgender. That's like a 5 or 6 year old. Almost equates evil. I know there hasn't been a lot, and this is not a prerequisite for school. It's not. Like being trans is not like linked to that. Not yet, at least. A lot of these kids are gonna fall into that trap because all they hear are politicians, teachers, and every influencer, I use that term real loosely, is screaming from the rooftops. Every video they make, attack, run or attack, run or attack. And a lot of us are actually trying to save you a life of pain. Accept who you are. Being male or female will never dictate anything you could do with your life, short of transitioning. because you'll never transition. That will never happen. At best, you may look like the other sex. At best. And even then, I'm on the side of you shouldn't be able to change no legal documents. Your birth certificate, your license, your passport, you should never be able to change that. You're starting to think you could change everything about yourself, which is unchangeable. It's immutable. You are who you are. You are hardwired to this body. That's unfortunate if you don't like that fact, and the sooner you can accept it, it will be that much better for you. I promise. I'm coming from a place of a dad who would love his child and is trying to save you a life of pain, turmoil, and confusion. Stop listening to ideologues. They're not helping. They're only driving you further into a fucking corner. We need to lead you out of that corner. Maybe get a little more comfortable with the person you were born to be. One of one, love yourself, not the character you wish you could have been.